So what is a counselling psychologist? My name's Mayanthi, I'm a qualified counsellor. I make videos all about how I became a counsellor and what you might want to know if you're looking to become a counsellor as well. So I had a comment on a video which was in regards to counselling psychologists. So what is a counselling psychologist? It's basically a specialisation of psychology. So you still have to go through and become a psychologist to work as a counselling psychologist or to choose the pathway of becoming a counselling psychologist. So for today's video, I'm going to use the definition by the APS, which is the Australian Psychological Society, and I'll go through their website, which states what a counselling psychologist is and sort of the pathway to get there as well. So this is the webpage I'll be going through. So I'll be having a read of this and sharing what a counselling psychologist does with you. So basically it says counselling psychologists provide a variety of techniques and therapeutic approaches that meet the specific needs and circumstances of clients. We work in areas such as grief and loss, significant life transitions, developmental issues, relationship difficulties, domestic violence, sexual abuse and assault, trauma, maintaining healthy lifestyles, vocational assessment and career development. In individuals, our work includes prevention, assessment, diagnosis and treatment, and ongoing monitoring of clients with mental health disorders such as anxiety, depression and substance abuse, as well as more complex disorders such as post-traumatic stress disorder. In organisations, counselling psychologists help with the issues that range from mediation and conflict resolution to vocational assessments. So it basically seems like a counselling psychologist would be providing a counselling service in all of those or one of those areas specifically. But in addition, a counselling psychologist can also assess and diagnose mental health conditions, which is generally what a psychologist can do. So if you are going down the path of counselling psychology but you don't really want to do assessments and diagnosing, then I assume you can choose not to, but in organisations you may have to do that if that's part of your role. So on the APS website, they have what the different types of psychologists are. So the different pathways that you can take when you're going into doing your masters. So just to touch on them, there's clinical neuropsychologists, clinical psychologists, community psychologists, as we've discussed, counselling psychologist, educational and developmental psychologists, forensic psychologists, health psychologists, organisational psychologists, sport and exercise psychologists, and psychologists with general registration. So if you want me to go through some of those other ones, let me know. And when you're registering with the APS, you would be registering under one of these sort of specializations. They also have a bit more information about where counselling psychologists could potentially get work as well. So it says, consumers of the service of counselling psychologists are persons, groups and organisations including members of the public, couples, families and carers, medical specialists and health practitioners, health departments, hospitals and community practices, community groups, national, state or local government or non-government organisations, welfare agencies, educational institutions, justice services, victims of crime and community services. So basically it sounds like there would be lots of jobs in this area of psychology, because you can basically, I guess it depends on what you choose to do and what you choose to kind of specialize in, but there are lots of options. Like it says, like you could work in hospitals and schools, in community organizations. So a lot of organizations would require counseling psychologists because you have the ability to provide that treatment as well as assess and diagnose. And it says counselling psychologists use their knowledge and understanding of psychology, psychotherapy and mental health to treat a wide range of psychological issues, problems and mental health disorders. They can provide assessment, diagnosis, and psychotherapy for individuals, couples, families, and groups, and they use evidence-based therapies and evidence-based therapy relationships to assist clients to resolve mental health disorders or psychological problems and move toward greater psychological health. So just to clarify, a counsellor is not a counselling psychologist. If you want to be a counselling psychologist, you have to follow the pathway of completing psychology and becoming a counselling psychologist. If you follow the pathway of studying counselling and say doing a master's of counselling, after that degree or after that master's, you don't become a counselling psychologist. You'll be a counsellor, which means you can provide that therapeutic intervention and that treatment, but you can't necessarily assess and diagnose mental health conditions, and you won't be considered for some of the same jobs that a psychologist would be, say in schools or hospitals, but you would be able to work in more private settings and potentially some community organizations as well. So I hope that helped you understand what a counselling psychologist is and potentially go down that pathway if you're looking at what you're wanting to study when you go to university or as some kind of further career development as well. If you like this video, make sure to hit the subscribe button and you'll be updated with my weekly uploads, and also click that thumbs up button if you want to see more.